So this template loads data from the GitHub Actions API, which you can use to run continuous integration tests. And it does analysis on like how flaky they are, right? So like if tests are failing a lot, it's good to know if that's happening sort of systematically, because basically every time you're deploying some code, right, and you're waiting for the test to pass so that you can, or so you push some code, you're waiting for the test to pass so you can deploy it. Like if they're constantly failing or inconsistently, right, like it's sort of death by 1,000 cuts. Like it doesn't ruin your day, but it slows you down. It slows everybody down a little bit. So oftentimes fixing tests can be like, feels like such a small thing because it's like you just rerun the test and it works or whatever. But like adding it up, it can be a cost to developer productivity. So here we're looking at some sample data of, I think, the Svelte JS repository. And we look at jobs that fail, but then pass when they're rerun. So that's like, they're flaky tests. And so these are ones that we'll probably want to look into. And then if you're, trying to figure out more, you can see the ones that fail. I'm a database developer at Observable, and I have not written any integration tests. I do most of my stuff in notebooks. So maybe Jimmy can give a little breakdown of how this fits into the developer flow.
This is related to PRs, at least at Observable, and I think different organizations have similar setups, but the way that our integration tests work are that after you've submitted your PR, then we'll have integration tests that are run automatically on each pull request. So, you can imagine that this is the next step in your development workflow. Okay, we've figured out, we've submitted pull requests, and now we're looking at integration tests. Integration tests are, they're also known as acceptance tests, but they're testing the functionality of the site or your website or your product from the perspective of an end user, and you're trying to mimic any actions that they might be taking. Like, for example, for notebooks, it's making sure that you can, execute a notebook, share it, fork it, all those things. A lot of times if they fail, then it might be because something in your code is off, there's a bug in your code, or that it might be flaky, which is what this template is helping us with. And you want the signal here to be as high as possible so that when they do fail, that it's more likely to be a bug rather than a flakiness in the integration test itself. So I think that's what this template helps out with, is like, okay, I can look at this template and have knowledge of, okay, this particular integration test seems to fail a lot, and maybe it's flaky inherently, and it's less likely to be due to my code, but also it'd be great for us to fix this flakiness so that we don't run into this problem in the future.
Yeah, and this chart, I want to point out, is like on each row is a test. So like a suite of, right, it's like something that runs, and each column is a commit or a PR, right? So like, and then sometimes you can see that a commit, like it fails, or like things they get canceled. So there's something up with that commit probably, right? Where it's a lot of things are either failing or getting canceled. But yeah, sometimes along this test, you're seeing that it's canceling often. And so that can give you kind of an overview of that. That's what I was doing while you were talking. I was clicking on a particular run, and then you go into GitHub and like see what actually happened and try to debug it. Like, so if this one failed, and it like failed on this command, and then it'll have like a bunch of the output. And just very similar to the template that the pull request template, right? There's instructions on forking it, authenticating. We do show like there's some options that because GitHub Actions, you can have multiple workflows. You could like filter stuff down to a particular branch. The data, like this is like a table view of the job runs, the integration test runs.
And what are GitHub Actions?
The integration tests are actions. Like there's like I guess you can say like whenever someone commits to this repo, do this thing, like take this action, and the action it takes is like running some code, which is the tests, right?
Got it. Mm-hmm.
The nice part about it is it makes it easy for you to get all of your development set up that you need in order to run your tests, like all your requirements, all your dependencies. I mean, define that in some YAML. So like, oh, pull this Docker image. And the nice thing is it's you can connect it to certain events, right? So I can connect it to every single pull request that's created. I can connect it. These are all triggers. I can connect this every time a pull request is created. Then I want to load up these dependencies somewhere and run these tests. Every time something is merged into main, then I want to do the same thing. And from there, based on the success of those actions, now you can do other stuff. So it's pretty useful.
To go a little bit deeper for those, people are asking about the API, that kind of thing. This notebook gives you more. Like here, if I'm not logged in, right, this isn't my notebook. I'm not using the secret. I only have 58 requests. Like we can calculate the rate limit. And so if you were curious about directly playing with this API and like making your own visualizations, or and you can even edit, like you can use this to change actions, right? Like you could make new ones and programmatically and all kinds of good stuff. So that's just, if you do want to go deeper, it's there.